You want to be hardcore, you want to be extreme. Well, if you're like the Sandman, then you're listening to the podcast Drunk Wrestling History, dudes. And please be drunk when you hear it.
We've got Bush.
I like to fuck. Do you like to fuck?
It's just money shots, chairs all over Barrett.
Those guys with bang butts think they're a big deal. My dick is small.
What's up, Drunk Marks and Drunk Marquettes? Welcome to Ringside Refills, where you're never cut off from drunk wrestling history. I'm your designated host, Adam, and they are the Drunk Wrestling Historians.
This is Eddie. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I have a problem without alcohol.
And this is Scott. Acknowledge your tribal drunk.
So that's the acknowledge, not point up, but that's...
Tilts, see?
Got
Tilt
it.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
Tilt
Did you
up.
do that? I didn't even catch that. Did you do that last week?
I did.
I didn't even notice it. I actually didn't even notice it right now, but I was looking down at the iPad.
I just did regular acknowledge, but noted.
Still one
Noted.
up.
Yeah,
Still one up.
it is.
This is just a different one.
Yes.
Yep. And with that out of the way, welcome to our episode. Hope you have a nice cold one in hand, and hope you're doing your holiday shopping or late holiday shopping on nicholasdickhead.com, where you can buy a fucking shirt.
Yeah, if you order it now, when you're hearing this, you're not going to have that shit by Christmas. But
No.
you might have it for New Year's Eve, which is more appropriate.
Yeah, you'll get lucky on New Year's. So
Yeah,
that's
wear
a good
that
thing.
shit. Wear that shit to the bar on New Year's Eve.
Exactly. Guaranteed to
Oh,
get you
you know
laid.
what? I think I'm going to a bar on New Year's Eve. I will do that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You've got a really good shot at getting lucky, too, so...
Yeah. Well, I'm married.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah. The whole wedding cake thing. Yeah.
Either way, balls may drop. I don't know. Okay.
Not mine.
Okay.
Mine dropped a long time ago.
Okay, maybe the pants will drop, but it'll be like, no, not in the mood.
Bang it off the back of my leg.
Yeah.
All right. Eddie told
That
me.
reminds me of Shannon on the Valentine's Day episode last year. She kept talking about old man balls rule.
She loves them. They're her favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I kept
Yes.
picturing, I was listening to it, and I just kept picturing Johnny Knoxville as the old man. With the balls hanging down to the back of his knee.
The dogs are chewing on him.
Old Johnny Knoxville rules.
Oh, yeah.
I like when he made out with his granddaughter. Isn't that what he did? He made out with his granddaughter.
Oh, so wrong, dude. So wrong.
That was fucking great. I love the stunts they do, but sometimes the pranks they do are even funnier, you know?
Oh, yeah.
When they,
Easily.
When
Yeah.
they just fuck with people. I remember when they drove off, they put the baby, what do you call the carrier thing?
The carrier on the top of the
They
car.
put the carrier at the top of the car, drove off. People were chasing him across the parking lot. Oh, fuck. Yeah, anyone who hasn't seen
so
that, go
good.
dig that episode up. I think it's on if you have Paramount Plus.
Paramount?
I think Jackass is on there, yeah. Yeah, you probably can find it on YouTube, too. But I believe that
so
shit's on
good.
Paramount Plus. Yeah.
So, anyways, Johnny Knoxville, if you're listening to us, we salute you.
We love you. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
go buy a shirt.
That's us saluting him.
That's a hell of a
that was?
salute. Was that part of the copious notes?
No, that wasn't. No, how would that be part of copious notes? The copious notes are written.
I don't know. I think
It could kick him off.
Calling out Johnny Knoxville, that's very important. So
Oh, no, I didn't have Johnny Knoxville in my notes. I just think about Johnny
Okay.
Knoxville a lot. We were talking about old man balls.
I'm glad mine aren't the first that come to mind.
No, it's always Knoxville.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I don't try not to think about you. If I'm thinking about anyone's balls right now, it's that dude Luigi's.
Jeez, Burger King
he's
wouldn't have snitched.
McDonald's being a snitch.
It's the greatest thing, dude. Like the
then
dude just went and
fucking-
whacks. He went
Fucking
and whacked
Burger
a fucking
King
guy.
puts out. Yeah.
He whacked a guy, and everybody on social media is talking about how hot he is. Apparently, he's like the star of gay Twitter. I heard this today. Like, dudes are talking about, there was speculation about what color his butthole is and everything. Like, it's crazy.
Is it bleached?
Oh man, that dude's either gonna love prison or fucking hate prison. He's gonna be a star, dude.
Yeah.
His
A porn
first
star,
day-
apparently.
Yeah, the first thing his fucking stomach's gonna say is, "Hey, either we fucking or I'm fucking."
Oh man, you're on fire with these sound effects tonight, dude.
Yeah. All right, this episode's dedicated to Luigi.
Yeah, not Mario,
Yes.
just Luigi.
Just yeah. Either way,
Wouldn't it have been great? He escaped on that city bike. Wouldn't it have been great if he escaped on a go-kart?
fucking fantastic.
Wouldn't that should have been fun?
Throwing banana peels behind him.
Yeah, the dude at McDonald's threw a banana peel in front of him and called the cops.
Oh fuck, dude. Oh my god, that's great.
You can't even get mad at that. That's legit. It's like
See, this should be our spin-off fucking podcast, dude. Just drunk current events. You know, drunk news network. Anyway,
DNN.
I think I'm starting to feel I'm drinking White Claw. I think I'm starting to feel it a little bit. I'm about to crack a Guinness.
Yeah, you're getting white girl wasted.
I'm getting white girl wasted. And, yeah.
anyways, for this week's episode,
We're going to talk about someone else who got wasted.
yes. This is not Shawn Michaels versus John Cena. And this is also not the Broadway musical by Richard Rodgers and Lawrence Hart, the boys from Syracuse. I just went academic on all of y'all.
How'd that one go over my head? How did I miss that reference?
You do love Broadway.
Yeah. You always say, like, oh, yeah, we're going Broadway. You make that reference a lot with Ric Flair and everything. Or, no, that's Space Mountain. I'm getting it confused. Anyways.
No, it's Flair too. It's Flair too.
It is Flair. Okay.
Yeah,
but this does not involve Ric Flair. This involves Shawn Michaels versus the Marine.
Yeah, I actually named this Shawn Michaels versus the United States Marine Corps because
It's actually
as the story got...
it's actually debatable.
Yeah, it seems like a story that might have gotten exaggerated or blown out of proportion to the point where it's like it's unclear how many Marines beat him up. How many Marines does it take to beat up Shawn Michaels?
That's weird for a wrestling story to be blown out of proportion or to change numerous times.
Right, very unlike a wrestler to exaggerate.
It never happens. That's why this is so weird.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know how many people have even heard this story. If you haven't been around a long time, if you haven't been listening to wrestling or watching wrestling for very long,
you probably have no idea.
You might have no idea. And this is one of those things, like, at the time, it was like we all knew about it, right? Because it ended up on TV.
Yep.
And in 1995, I would have
takes
been...
place on Friday the 13th, October 13th.
it was Friday the 13th,
in the year of our Lord, 1995. Go for it.
Yeah, so 1995, I'm 17 at this point, right? So I'm older, but I'm not really, I'm just like, oh yeah, he looks like he got his ass kicked by 9 Marines. You know what I mean? I totally bought it. Like, I didn't even question it. And then it's like years later, you start hearing more. And like the story was like, they jumped him. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like you don't have any idea what it was about. You just know a bunch of Marines kicked the shit out of Shawn Michaels and he had to drop the title.
Yeah, like he had just gone to get some ice cream and was innocently walking down the street and he got jumped by 9 Marines.
Right. And then later on, as the years go by, more and more shit starts to come out about it. More people start to talk. He even talked about it.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, there's much more to this story, and the deeper you go into it, kind of the funnier it is. You know?
Yeah, I think Marty Jannetty's finally the one that outed him. Like, dude, it wasn't 9 Marines. It was fucking 1.
I'm not sure if it was Marty, because a couple people have said that, but I'm not sure who was the first one to say it. But yeah, that's definitely out there.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. So like Adam said, it was October 13th, which I didn't even realize was Friday the 13th, 1995 in Syracuse. It's Sean, Davey, and 123 Kid. They had come from a show in Binghamton. Somebody correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. You know how those East Coast cities always have some, like Worcester, Massachusetts. It's like, that's not, nah, man. There's like way more letters than that.
Yeah, hella silent letters. Yeah.
Yeah. Binghamton might be one of those two. I don't know.
Supposedly there's also another guy named Robert Jones with them, and they were in a 2-door car. That's important later on.
Yeah, they were in a Pontiac Sunfire.
Or Sunfire, yes.
Sunfire. Yeah. So they left the show in Binghamton. They drove to Syracuse. I assume the show was in Syracuse the next day. They check into the hotel, right? So, you know, a show typically ends like 11-ish. So they don't get to their hotel. Well, it was like after midnight, they check into their hotel. And what do you do when you check into a hotel after midnight? You look for a fucking bar, right? Or a club.
Yeah, fuck sleeping.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, dude, the bar doesn't close for another hour. Actually, you know, New York bars don't close till 4, so they might have had a few more hours. I don't know if that's only in New York City or if that's all of New York State or what, but I know last call in New York City is 4. So, so they show up and they apparently go hard, which until just now I thought they went hard because they only had an hour left, but maybe they just went hard because they're fucking maniacs.
Yeah, well, they only had 3 hours left, so they're like, we got to make up for lost time.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Bring on the Long Islands. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, god damn, dude. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go start slamming Long Islands. That's how I almost wound up in the drunk tank. That's the last time. I never drank Long Island since then. That's trouble. That's bad news. Yep. But
oh yeah.
And you know, on top of that, I don't doubt there might have been a few road somas on the way, you know, on the car ride over.
That was implied in a couple of the stories I read about this. Yeah. It was alcohol and somas.
Yeah, odds are there was some other shit going on before they got there. I don't think they showed up fucking stone sober.
Yeah, it wasn't just Tylenol if they were popping pills.
Yeah, right. So Sean's, what are you drinking, dude? You're drinking out of a wine glass with ice. You're not drinking wine with ice, are you?
Is it the...
No.
What is it?
This is a Gins and Roses again.
Gins and Roses.
Oh, okay.
Gins and Roses, yeah. Oh, I finally killed off that bottle of 4 Roses, by the way. That's it in this glass, so yeah, done.
Don't ever buy another one.
But it's not so bad with the ginger ale, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, everything's fucking decent if you cover it up with something good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like polishing a turd. So Sean right away starts flirting with some chick on the dance floor, which, like, can you just totally picture Sean doing? Sean's all fucked up, slurring and fucking, you know, barely able to stand up straight or look you in the eyes, and he's flirting with some chick who's out just trying to dance and have a good time.
It seems like he was every bit of his gimmick, and especially in 1995. The cocky, conceited asshole, like that was Shawn Michaels in and out of the ring. So yeah, I could 100% see him doing this.
Do you think he had X-Pac carry a mirror so he could look at himself?
No, Davey Boy did.
Davey Boy carried a mirror. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. He was really living the gimmick. Like, he was the sexy boy. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this bar. I'm gonna pick up this chick. I'm gonna go back to the hotel. Hope fucking the somas aren't too much of a problem. My dick will fucking get hard.
Hard enough.
Then, you know.
Yeah.
Hard enough. Yeah.
At least grip it and stuff it. Fuck it.
Yeah, right. So apparently she was the girlfriend of ex-girlfriend of a Marine. And that guy fucking objected to Sean's advances. Didn't like this shit.
Like, this dude was completely fucking unreasonable, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's uncool, right? Like, if you're...
Oh, totally.
You know, I mean, unless she said something to him, unless she was like, hey, you know, maybe they're still cool, and she's like, hey, can you keep this fucking creepy guy away from me? But
I didn't read any of that, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know of any reason why this guy should be getting involved with that.
Yeah, he was probably also just a drunken asshole. Like,
exactly, right.
just as bad as HBK, a couple of drunken assholes, but that guy was in the wrong because fuck him, it's your ex-girlfriend.
Okay, attire wise, is it clear that he's a Marine? Because I think one of the things mentioned by JR is that supposedly they are believed to be Marines just because they had white Ford Broncos and crew cuts.
Well, white Ford Broncos? I don't fucking Al Cowlings?
I don't know if that's a Marine thing, but okay, subtract that. They all had crew cuts.
Yeah, okay. Well, there seems to be some debate about whether anyone were Marines either, and I kind of looked into some shit about that, so we'll get to that part.
But still, for the sake of the story, it's they're Marines.
Did you say supposedly with a B?
Supposedly. No, D.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I thought you said with a B. Okay.
My bad if I did.
No, I was ready to ridicule you, but no, I don't have to.
It was maybe whatever the hell this is.
Is that Moxie?
Moxie soda?
Yeah, it was it was the same place where I found that Pakora Sweat from last show.
That's like Penn Jillette's kid's name, right? Moxie Crime Fighter. Isn't that the kid's name?
Is it really?
Yeah, he has
Penn
kids
Jillette
with weird
show
names. Yeah, it's like Moxie Crime Fighter, and the other one's name is like fucking Cubert or something. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Something fucking weird. Anyway,
at least it's not Luigi.
So it's Luigi. Oh, I need like a gun sound effect, huh? I feel like he's
it was silence.
Too soon.
It was silence.
Silence. I feel like he's going to be a regular part of the show. It's just the funny. It's not funny that he killed a guy. It was just so funny that his name was Luigi. When I saw that, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, Luigi? Like, I thought.
You're like, the mafia is sick of healthcare, dude. They put out a hit.
Yeah. Right. It's like I told you, like when you hear, like you hear a guy named Luigi whacked a guy, you're picturing Luca Brasi. And then you get this guy, he looks like fucking Rick Rude.
Right, yeah. The star of gay Twitter.
Dude. It was so fucking funny. Yeah. So they get bounced. The bouncer comes and tosses them, right? He can see shit's about to go. He probably could see that those guys were in no shape to be in public in the first place, and was like, "You guys got to go." It's unclear if he bounced the Marine, but those guys.
I understand he bounced them both.
Okay, he bounced them both. Okay.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, both of you.
So they go to take off, right? So X-Pac is driving. Which, imagine that. X-Pac's the fucking the closest one to sober is X-Pac.
Wait. I heard differently, or I should say I read differently. I read that the bouncer had his girlfriend put the three wrestlers in her Pontiac Sunfire, and Kid and Bulldog were in the back seat. HBK got in the passenger seat, and she was going to drive them off. And then that's when they approached the car, like asking what she was doing with those fake losers. And Davey Boy,
so it's not the guy's car?
One of them.
Okay,
it might have been his car.
There are a lot of different stories. Marty's version of the story is it was absolutely their car because it was a rental. Because he specified it was a rental, and I'll get to that in a second. Why he specified it was a rental. But the story I've heard, the most common story I've heard is Kid is driving, Davey's in the back seat, Shawn's in the passenger seat with the seat leaned way back, passed out.
I can't picture 1, 2, 3 Kid, like, because I've read a little bit more. You're going to get further into this, like the shape that 1, 2, 3 Kid was in. I can't imagine a bouncer telling him to drive these guys home.
Well, the bouncer's not going to tell 1, 2, 3 Kid anything, and he's not going to stop him from driving him home either. He's just get the fuck out of the bar.
Okay,
they're outside now. Once they're outside, he's keeping an eye on what's going on inside. We
need to get 1, 2, 3 Kid on the show, dude.
Yeah, I know,
just
but he's
to
probably
confirm
like
some
Shawn,
of this shit, dude.
Well, like Shawn claims he doesn't remember any of it. Fucking Kid probably doesn't either. And Davey's
they're
dead.
all three in the same. Yeah, and Davey's dead. Yeah, so they're all probably three in the same boat. Like none of them remember shit.
Yeah. So the story I heard most
commonly
is
Robert
Davey's in the
Jones,
backseat.
if you're still around.
Yeah.
The supposed fifth guy.
So the Marine comes over, grabs Shawn, opens the door, yanks Shawn out of the car. Davey's stuck in the back seat because it's a 2-door, right?
Yeah.
He's stuck in the back seat because the back seat is leaned down and he can't reach down to open it. And
yeah, Davey's a thick motherfucker, dude. Like he's built like a bulldog. Like, and now he's kind of like pinned.
Right. If someone there can do something to somebody, it's gonna be Davey, right? Because Kid's tiny.
Yes.
Shawn, he can't. Well, he's all fucked up anyway, so he's not going to be able to defend himself. And he's not, even when he looked big, he was never that big of a dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Marty says that Kid dove under the car. And that's where he said it was a rental car, because he said Davey was like, he said Davey was like joking about it, I guess, saying he was down there checking the muffler. And he goes, it's a rental car, and he's down there checking the muffler. Kid said he was down there taping his fists up to come back out and fight.
I had read that Kid came out first, and he was throwing worked kicks at the guy, and then ended up just falling down, passing out drunk. Yeah. Could you imagine 1, 2, 3 Kid coming out of the car and fucking throwing his work karate kicks?
Yeah, so it's like a crazy story. There are like so many different versions of it. It's like kind of impossible to piece together what's true, especially with like the two guys who would have been all fucked up that night. And I feel like Shawn's going to keep his mouth shut even if he remembers, how Shawn is now. X-Pac seems pretty honest about shit, and I haven't really seen much that he's said about it. But he probably was, all fucked up.
He was hammered as much as HBK was.
Yeah, so this dude pulls him out of the car, fucks him up. He stomps his head on the fucking ground, smashes his head into the bumper.
JR says that he smashes the car door onto his head, pulls it back, closes the door, and then shoves his head into the door.
Yeah.
That's fucking brutal. That's like one of those cage spots where they close your head in the door.
Yeah, right, but it's a fucking car door.
Brutal. Yeah.
Davey's daughter said that Davey took out 2 guys. He eventually got out and he took out 2 guys. And then the third guy tried to gouge his eyes out, which is like, I was like, fucking, that's crazy, dude. Because that's like an old school wrestler thing to do. Like take a guy's eye out in a bar fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
but it sounds like something a
that.
Marine might do, like in hand-to-hand combat,
Maybe, yeah. But she said that, so I guess he took out 2 guys, and then it was really unclear what happened with the third guy. Maybe the third guy just gave up and left. But she said he came home from the tour and was all fucked up. He was all scratched up and bruised and shit. And that's his daughter weighing in on it. So, like, I mean, she wasn't there to see anything, but she's also not like, she seems like she would at least tell what she knows to be true. You know what I mean? She wouldn't be, right? Because who knows if Marty's fucking lying? Maybe Marty's fucking burying Kid by saying he went under the car. Marty's nuts. Yeah, all these people were nuts. All these wrestlers from back in the day they were all crazy. Every fucking one of them.
The theory about hiding, or the story about hiding, doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think either of those guys would let their champion, right? Like if Shawn's out of the picture, they're not making money, because Shawn was literally, it was him and Diesel carrying the company. You had Razor and some other guys, but really it was Diesel and Shawn. And Shawn's star was about to start really taking off. I don't think either of them want Shawn injured or hurt to where he can't be on the show. I don't think either of them are hiding, avoiding a fight, especially 1, 2, 3 Kid, dude. There's no way. There's no way he was hiding.
Maybe he was really taping his fists under a car.
Or he was like Davey Boy. He was trapped, and when he finally came out, he was so fucked up, dude. He just was like ineffective.
Yeah, who knows? The only one I heard say that he was under the car was Marty. So that could be complete bullshit. But the way he was quoting
it's not
Bulldog,
like Marty to lie.
Yeah, right. But the way he was quoting Bulldog, it sounded kind of legit. But you just never know,
I just can't see that.
Yeah, everybody didn't have a fucking phone camera back then,
Right. Yeah, good point.
So the story ends up being, so this shit happens, right? And do you know who had to go? So one of them would have made a phone call to the agent who was on the road for that tour. Do you know who had to go see Shawn in the hospital at fucking 3 a.m.?
Yes, I do. But go ahead.
George the Animal.
Did he bring Shawn Michaels a mine doll? Yeah. Hope you're feeling better.
Can you imagine George the Animal's old ass, 40 years in the business, he's just getting woken up at 3 a.m. to go see Shawn's stupid ass all beat up in a hospital, and then he's got to call the boss in the morning,
I bet that's not the craziest story that George the Animal Steel could tell you, though, about a late night phone call, something happened. Like, I'm sure there's been way crazier.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. So he had to go to the hospital. And then, the office gets the call in the morning. So fucking, nobody's happy about it. Apparently, the most pissed off one was Watts. I didn't realize this is when Bill Watts was working. Watts was there for like a minute. This was when Watts was there. And Bill Watts was notorious for his rule that if you fucking lose a bar fight, you're fired. Because my wrestlers shouldn't be getting beat up by regular people. Like, don't fucking get in a fight. Yeah, don't get in a fight. And if you're going to get in a fight, make sure you can kick the guy's ass. So
you better
Watts
fucking win.
Yeah, so Watts was pissed. He's like, wait, this is one of our top guys. He's getting beat up. And it got like media attention and we have to take him off TV, you know, because like it was in the newspaper and shit. So yeah, Watts was not happy. So it seems that like for most people who've talked about it are either like Pritchard's like, I don't know how many Marines beat him up. Cornette says it's one beat him up. Marty says it's one who beat him up. And it really makes sense. It wouldn't take more than one guy to beat him up in that condition. You know what I mean? Especially like if Kid gets out of the car, if Davey gets out of the car, like say there are 6 guys or however many guys, it's only one guy is going to focus on the guy who can't defend himself anyway. So I totally believe that. I do not think he got beat up by 6 of these fucking guys.
Right.
And
but the story has varied. It was 6, it was 9, it was 10.
I think Triple H and HBK's. Yeah, I think Triple H said it was 9 on the A&E documentary.
Yeah.
So I think that was a thing where Vince is like, we got to spin this, and we're not going to say he got beat up by 1 Marine. We're going to say he got beat up by 6 Marines. You know?
Yes. Exactly.
I think Vince and the office knew exactly what happened. You know, I think they knew it was one guy, but they were the ones who blew it up. You know?
Yep. We got to spin it.
So then I start thinking. So I'm thinking about it, right? And I'm like, okay, what are the odds that there are even 6 to 9 Marines in a bar, right? And I'm like, is there a Marine base nearby in Syracuse, right? Because that would make sense. Like those guys go off base at night. There are no Marine bases in New York State at all. And Syracuse is Syracuse is not like a border city where like somebody came across from Philadelphia or something like that. Syracuse is kind of in the middle of the state, right? So if it's 6 Marines off base, they're a long fucking way away. So kind of when I read that, I was like, I don't think these guys were fucking Marines. Or it was one Marine who was home, you know, for the weekend or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So it started sounding kind of fishy then. Then I read that there was a guy, I'm trying to find his name. You know, I might not have written his name down, but there's an Army Reserve base like an hour and a half away from there called Fort Drum. Some dude who was stationed on that base at the time said that the guy who beat him up was an Army Reserve guy who was from that base. And he said everybody on the base at Fort Drum knew exactly, you know, it was like he was notorious. It was like a famous story. Like his name was in the newspaper and shit. And he said he got in trouble. He said he got sent home from active duty and he got banned from going to wrestling shows, which I don't know how the army bans you from going to wrestling shows. You know what I mean?
Right? What the fuck,
I don't know how
dude?
you fucking do that.
I didn't know that Shawn was a wrestler anyways.
Yeah, well, because it ended up getting media attention, you know.
I forgot that part. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like he might have been an Army Reserve guy, or maybe they all were, but they were not. It's kind of iffy whether they were military guys at all. But this one dude who was stationed on that base claimed that the guy was in the Army. He was an Army Reserve guy. So the Marine thing. So who knows if anyone even knew that? Maybe they just said they made up it was Marines and it just happened to be fucking Army guys. Who knows? But Mean Gene teased it on WCW for the remember the hotline?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he said that Shawn Michaels got beat up by a group of fans on TV. He said it on TV and he's like, call the hotline to hear about Shawn Michaels getting beat up by a group of fans.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, right.
I love it.
Isn't that fucking funny? Yeah, me and Gene's over there fucking goofing on Shawn on TV.
I forget who mentioned that exact thing. The hotline. That's like 90s style clickbait for $2 a call or whatever.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exclusive
For first minute,
shit to make bank.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then you kind of get to the fallout after that, right? Like this shit all happened, and then now they have to deal with it on TV because he's all fucked up. He's got a concussion, and
he's the Intercontinental Champion. So there's
he's
that
IC
too.
champion.
And he's got a title defense on a pay-per-view coming up.
He's 11 days.
In Your House 3 with Dean Douglas.
I think it was In Your House 4.
AKA Shane.
But yeah, it was In Your House. Yeah, he's got to defend against Dean Douglas, and the fans hadn't gotten wind of this at that point. I mean, I guess maybe the Observer, you know, whatever. But I mean,
no internet, so that
and it hadn't been addressed on TV yet. So Gorilla comes out and he says he's got to make Shawn forfeit the title because he's injured and can't defend it. He forfeits it to Dean Douglas. Within 15 minutes, Dean Douglas loses it to Razor. which was just like, fuck Dean Douglas. Like, that could have been a thing. They could have done something. I always liked Dean Douglas. I like him more than Shane Douglas. And that could have been a thing, give him a title run. Give it to him for 2 months and see how he does. But they just never really, I don't know what it was. I mean, I think the Click didn't fucking like him. So I think he kind of, he had the wrong people against him from the start.
Yeah, it was a Click move, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, oh yeah, put it on him for and then Razor comes out and beats him hella fucking fast. So
jobs him out. That's it. Yep.
Yeah, instead of maybe doing something cool with him, put it on Razor a third time or however many times it was,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But he comes out looking all fucked up.
His eyes bloodshot.
Yeah. Shane claims that he was not that fucked up and he could have wrestled. He said that was makeup. He said he came out of the makeup room looking like that. Yeah. But didn't go into the makeup room looking like that. He's the only one.
He said, "Oh, the makeup ladies must have done a number on you."
Yeah. I mean, now with him getting beat to the point he was in the hospital and shit, you would think he would look still pretty beat up, but who knows?
Yeah.
If what Shane Douglas is saying is true, nobody else is fucking squealing about it. You'd think like Marty or someone to be like, "Oh yeah, that was," because Marty was on that show. I looked. He was on that In Your House. You think Marty would be like, "Nah, that was bullshit." Shawn showed up to the arena looking fine, and then they put him in a makeup chair for an hour. So who knows?
Yeah, that could be sour grapes from Shane. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So then it's like, okay, what do we do with him on TV? Right now, we're going to get him babyface sympathy. And I think that's when they said he got beat up by 9 Marines, because I don't think they said it In Your House, right? Yeah, they didn't say. No. So he did a sit-down interview. Was the sit-down interview with Vince? Or was it with JR?
No.
Do you remember?
If it was on Raw, it was with JR. I saw that. Okay. There was a clip
so
for
he
that.
Does a sit-down interview. It was like...
There was like the minimal, the black guys right here under both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the Vince sit-down interview with JR or with Cole, whoever it was. Fucking, he's got, if you get a shoot black eye, you go do a sit-down interview on Raw and look for sympathy. Worked great for Shawn, did not work so well for, you know who.
For Vince, yeah.
Yeah. But Shawn said in the interview that he was forced to give the title to an extremely overrated and undeserving Dean Douglas.
Again, burying him, like just fucking.
Yeah, God damn, dude, beat him hella fast and say he's overrated and undeserving.
Yeah,
like it's like they hated that fucking guy. I wonder why.
Yeah, threatened by maybe how good he was at the time. I don't know.
Or is it just like they don't like him the same way I don't like him?
That could be. Yeah,
you know what I
they
mean?
just saw it back in the '90s before the rest of us.
I never found him particularly likable.
I liked him back then, but then the more I watched his match, I was like, man, fuck, this is
I liked him as Dean Douglas, but you know, when he was Dean Douglas, he wrestled for fucking like 5 minutes on Superstars too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, I never saw him go do like 12 pile drivers and fucking have a guy kick out and then beat him with a clothesline.
I liked him in WCW. I will say that.
Yeah,
before the whole ECW thing.
Right, his first kind of national TV run.
Yes.
So they're going to turn it into a sympathetic babyface storyline, right? So he comes back in November and he wrestles Owen on Raw, and I remember this vividly. This is like one of my main like mid '90s Raw memories. He takes an enziguri, and like a minute later, he kind of just drops to the mat. He's holding his head like he's like his head's fucked up, and he doesn't get back up. And they come out, they put oxygen on him, they stretcher him out, and it was like Lawler got up and left the commentary table to check on him and shit.
Yeah.
It was just so well done and so convincing. I was like worried. I was like, oh shit. Because Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler at this point, like by a mile. I don't like anyone even close to as much as him. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, and it turns into he re-aggravated the injury and now he's got a badass concussion. And you're like, shit, when's he going to be back? Like, is he ever going to be back?
Yep.
Like, how bad is this? I completely bought into it, you know? It was just so well done. They pulled it off. It was one of those ones where they pulled off like really perfectly, like when they did Cactus and Terry in the dumpster and like Sonny came out and was crying and shit, you know?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was just perfect. And then they take him off TV, and then kind of long story short, he's gone a few weeks. He comes back, he wins a Rumble, and the fans really got behind him huge at that point. They already were. He'd only been a babyface since May after a long heel run. But he comes back as a babyface, or I mean, he's already a babyface, but he comes back an even bigger babyface, wins a Rumble, goes and wrestles Brett at 12, and he becomes champion. So like this really built up, like I would imagine that was already the plan for him to win the Royal Rumble before any of this happened.
Yeah.
But
all of it was going to happen anyway.
I think so, yeah, but it really, because who else would it have been to wrestle Brett?
Right.
But it really fucking got the fans behind him in a major, major way. You know, it was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this dramatic fucking comeback story. So, yeah, it was just like really, really. So, this dumb shit that he did in a bar one night, a bar he probably shouldn't have been in the first place. And it ends up like becoming a major storyline. You know, Razor's that I don't know if Shawn was going to drop the title to Dean Douglas. Who knows when he would have actually? I didn't even think about that. When do you think he would have dropped the title? Would they have done title versus title in the Iron Man match?
Maybe, possibly.
Maybe something like that.
My guess is he was going to drop it to Dean Douglas, and then
think
Razor
so?
was probably going to win it at the Rumble.
How do you have him drop it to Dean Douglas though? Because I mean, he was not a guy that was treated seriously whatsoever. And you have the
I
fucking
don't know,
guy,
dude.
the guy who's going to WrestleMania in a few months loses to him.
Like shenanigans, I mean, you could always do some crazy shit like that. But I would imagine
Yeah.
HBK was slated to lose that because like you said, the Rocket was being tied to him to go for the heavyweight title. And it's just, it's funny because like everything's coming up Millhouse for HBK.
Right.
You know, he completely fucks up, like you said, and then has this completely work out in his favor.
Right, he did some shit that if he'd worked in if he'd done this when he worked in Mid-South, he would have been fired.
Done.
And he ends up being world champ and the biggest star in the company a few months later, you know?
And it was going to happen anyway, but he had that sympathetic fan vote behind him.
Yeah, but it just ended up affecting so much different shit, you know? Like, from this one dumb incident, you know? It was like very butterfly effecty.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
He ended up I had the guy's name. I have the Marine's name written down, but I lost it in my notes. But he sued the dude over this
I think I
shit.
have it. Let me see.
Something Derek Griffin.
Douglas
or
Griffith.
Luigi. Douglas Griffith.
Yes.
Yeah. I was close. He sued the dude, but the lawsuit ended up kind of going away. I think Vince made it go away because it was like, okay, some shit's going to come out in this fucking in this court case about what you were up to, and it's going to make you look bad. It's going to make the company look bad. Maybe we just walk away from this one. You know, let's forget this ever happened.
The Marine's lawyer really pressed that too. He's like, there's going to be some shit coming out. You don't want to come out about your champion, you know, and you're coming off of the steroid trial and we're about to out your champion. Just make it go away. And Vince did. And that was probably the right call.
Yeah, and I mean, that's totally a thing that happens in cases like that all the time. Like, okay, we're going to go to Discovery. We're going to fucking do a deposition. We're going to ask you all these fucking, we're going to ask under oath, you're going to answer how many somas you took in the car, you know, and all this shit. And this is like 2 years after the steroid trial. So Vince is definitely trying to stay out of fucking trouble. You know, he doesn't want to look like any of his guys are doing anything. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to know. Like, I wonder if Vince gave him some kind of bonus or something. You know, here's a couple bucks, make it go away, that kind of thing. You know,
Probably.
or if it was just like, Shawn, I'm making you fucking champ, dude. Play ball. You know, who knows?
Yeah, just walk away from it, dude. Walk away.
Yeah. But then later on, when when he had one of the funniest things about this, later on when this whole thing when Brett and Shawn had their thing, like later in '96 or '97, I guess.
97,
Brett said that Shawn got beat up by a bunch of cheerleaders. Which
So
is great,
dude.
He said that during a
like,
slammy speech.
Was it a slammy speech when he said it? I thought it was on Raw.
I don't know. I may
it.
have heard that was the context of him bringing it
Dude,
up.
if Brett went into business for himself at a slammy speech, it's even funnier.
That's
But
fantastic.
yeah, this is like around that.
Those guys gave no
around
fucks.
No, because this is right around the time of the Sunny Days promo, you know, when Shawn said Brett's been having some sunny days, and then like Brett's got to go home and answer to his wife, which that was the greatest because Shawn was the one who was fucking Sunny.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's accusing Brett of fucking Sunny.
little transfer there.
Right. Yeah, Shawn's the one doing it. Yeah. It was like every accusation is an admission or whatever that is. Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but yeah, it was this crazy fucking situation that just kind of spiraled and it got blown in. Now it's like in wrestling lore, and we'll never really know the answers to everything that happened. We'll never really know if Kid was under the fucking car or, you know, was it one Marine who beat him up? Were they even, well, I guess we kind of, I mean, I'm going with, they were not Marines. They were Army guys, what's the difference? You know,
Army
there's still guys
dudes.
who can kick your ass, you know, but it's just,
exactly.
you know, one more piece of it that's not true. And I fully believe it was only one guy who did it. Because like I said, why would 9 guys do it when one guy can?
Exactly. Exactly.
But,
Especially the condition that he was in when it went down.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're so fucked up, dude, that you go sit down in the car, pass right out. Like, what are you going to do? A dude pulls you out of the car, starts smashing your head in the door.
Yeah, you're fucked, dude. You're fucked.
Yeah, that's all bad, dude. Yeah. Yeah. And he had like his not his eyelashes, one of his eyelids almost got like ripped off. He had to have stitches.
Yeah.
I guess they had to stitch his eyelash back, which that's gnarly.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit, dude. Like, that's harsh. Like, they were going for his he was going for HBK's ass, dude. Like, he was pissed.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was like,
pissed.
dude, if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. Yeah, he was fucking Drago on him, dude.
Yeah. And so that's what happened when Shawn Michaels
did the girlfriend even run out and be like, "Hey, honey, stop," or "Hey, ex, stop"? I don't know.
She went home with Marty that night.
She went home with the bouncer. Nice.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be great?
That'd be the perfect exclamation point to this story.
The way Marty is, I'm surprised he hasn't made that claim. Oh yeah,
Yeah, right.
With me that night. Yeah.
If he listens to this, he might.
Yeah. She's in the room with Marty.
Well, on that note, that takes care of our episode on Shawn Michaels versus the Marines. Asterisk. What do you think? I guess. What did you all think of this story? What did you think of our coverage? Have you ever gotten beat up by Marines? Let us know your experience on our social media platforms.
Yeah, if you ever got so shit-faced you wound up in a hospital near death.
In Syracuse.
Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? Shawn now claims that this used to happen to him. Like, this is not the only time it happened to him. He didn't say it was the only time he got beat up, but he said it wasn't the only time he woke up in the emergency room. Which I believe that, like, yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that, because that was part of him saying, I don't, because he was like, Logan Paul had him on his show like sometime fairly recently, and he didn't really answer anything. He's like, I don't really remember, man. I was so fucked up. And that used to happen to me all the time. I get so fucked up, I'd wake up in the emergency room and not remember how I got there or whatever. So that's sort of Shawn's, I forgot to address that earlier. Shawn's side of the story is, I don't know what happened.
How habitual.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Anyways, all the reactions, let us know on social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the alternates wrestling_drunk. Tell your family, friends, heels and faces, and Marines to like, share, and subscribe, and leave us reviews so that algorithm things can go our way. With Eddie and Scott, I'm Adam, reminding all of you to enjoy your buzz, watch wrestling responsibly, drink like nobody's watching. We'll see you all next time for another great episode. 1, 2, 3. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Dive.
Soma's a hell of a drug.
Dive under the car.